Today is May the 4th, 2025. This is Carmen bringing you your daily Bloodborne Remaster update. No news on a Bloodborne Remaster day, no news on the emulator. We don't have any Souls news or anything. Nothing for gaming news either, so for now I'm going to give a short little mini review of Expedition 33 as I did finish the main game of that today. Now I have not platinumed this game yet. Got a long way to go before I do that, but I did finish the main game today, or the story. So, a little mini review of my thoughts. So, this game is absolutely incredible. I want to get that out of the way. It is the most gorgeous game I've ever played, for sure. I have not played a game that looks better than this, at least not consistently. Maybe there are, some parts of other games that look better, but no game looks consistently better than Expedition 33, for sure. Combat-wise, it's very, very good. I love the, turn-based with an action twist. Great idea. I will say, I think late, especially post-game content, not really late game. You can get by in late game somewhat, which not really. Post-game content especially is like, you better learn to dodge and parry or like you're going to die in 2 hits. A lot of JRPGs or just turn-based games in general, like you're supposed to either take the hit, put up a guard to kind of mitigate the damage, or your evasion stat is high enough to avoid it. In Expedition 33, you are expected to either dodge it yourself or parry it yourself, jump it yourself, gradient it yourself, whatever it is. And if you do not, you die in 2 hits, flat. I will say, I feel like, I don't know, I haven't checked it out on easy difficulty. On normal, I feel like, this could probably be a bit more like a traditional turn-based RPG, and it wouldn't hurt anything where, like, you can take at least, like, 3 hits before you die. Like, you get absolutely shredded if you're not dodging and parrying, dude. It's ridiculous. Well, I would not really cite that as a negative. I don't see any harm in, like, kind of adjusting that. Again, I haven't seen what it's like on easy difficulty because I did my whole playthrough on normal. But, yeah, overall, I think that enemies kind of have a tendency to do, I call it like the Lies of P syndrome, which is like where they wind up, and then snap into the attack immediately, or rather, they delay it for an unspecified amount of time, and then with no anticipation frames whatsoever, they snap right into the attack. And it's more or less, all right, watch the wind up, and then count this amount of time, and then they do the attack. It's not intuitive. It's not good. It's bad design for an enemy. Not Lies of P. Expedition 33 doesn't do this often, but when it does, it's always very irritating, especially in a game where you die very, very quickly. So while it's not a super common issue, when it does happen with some of the big bosses, it is really annoying, really gets under my skin, because Lies of P gets under my skin with it really bad, but it's not the worst thing ever. Again, it's still not the most intuitive thing ever, but it's not there too often. Soundtrack, this game's very, very good, obviously in terms of the soundtrack. Great soundtrack, great voice acting as well. The lip sync sometimes gets a little bit off. It's not really a big deal. It's not like as bad as FF16 where like Clive doesn't even look like he's speaking English anymore. Like you can't even, like the lip flaps are like, it is at From Software levels of not even trying with Clive lip flaps in FF16 most of the time. So yeah, it's not that bad. It's not super distracting or anything. So yeah. Voice acting wise, it's incredible. Character wise, hit or miss. Some of them are pretty interesting, some of them aren't. I'm not going to give a lot of spoilers here. I'll say the main villain is really good. Verso kind of comes around like at the very last second, like the last couple hours. He really comes around like right at the end. Mayel's good. CL's okay. I'm not crazy over CL. Lune's okay. Monoko's okay. Gustav was my goat. I loved Gustav. SKA's fun. I'll say CL's good. I'm not going to downplay CL. Lune I thought was just okay, though. It's kind of hit or miss with the characters. Tough to say. For the story, it was absolutely phenomenal, except for, like, I think the start of Act 2 was a little sluggish. But it's fine. After Act 2, after the start of Act 2, it mostly picks up again until we get to probably my biggest problem I had with the whole game, which is that right at the end of Act 2, it's the big moment. We're going up there. Very exciting. We've been waiting for this the whole time. We're going to go there. All right, we're going to take this down to a screeching halt. The pacing is just going to stop right here. You're going to do absolutely nothing for 2 hours, but run through areas of reused assets, just smaller versions of every previous mandatory level you have played up to this point. You're going to run through them right here, fight all the same enemies. You do this for 2 hours. It is really miserable. Again, this feels like Ironwood type stuff. I mentioned it yesterday, I think. Like I said, it comes to a screeching halt, an abrupt screeching halt. I do not like that area. I would say this is my biggest problem with the entire game right here. Kind of like how the biggest problem with Rebirth is that Temple of the Ancients is 2 hours longer than it needs to be. Same thing with this area. There is no reason that the little tiny bit of exposition you get in this area could not have been a 45-second cutscene. There's not enough there to warrant 2 hours of padding and filler. There's not enough there for it. Thank you, Axel. So yeah, that's probably my biggest issue with the entire game as a whole. I still have a couple small ones. I had mentioned it a few days ago, about a week ago at this point. I think the menus are still bad. The menus are really annoying to navigate. Sure, there's a sorting system, but like even still, you get so many Pictos and it gets so cluttered that it doesn't even really help. The menus are like, I don't know, you got to come up with something more intuitive than that. It kind of reminds me of how bad the menus were in that Square Enix Avengers game. That's kind of what it reminds me of. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but the menus aren't very good. So as a whole right now, I haven't done much post-game content. I'm like level 62. I'm just starting post-game stuff. Tentatively, I'm going to say this game probably is a 10 out of 10, kind of like what Rebirth is to me. It's got a couple of hiccups and snags, but for the most part, I got to give this game a 10 out of 10. To me, a 10 out of 10 is like very rare. In fact, this is only the 5th game I've ever given a 10 out of 10 to. Those being Final Fantasy VII, I still believe is the best game of all time. Then Bloodborne, then Sekiro, then FF7 Rebirth, and then Expedition 33. I would compare Expedition 33 to Rebirth very, very closely. It's very, very close as to which one I like more. I haven't finished 33 entirely. I haven't platinumed it. But if you ask me right now, I am going to pick Rebirth. So yeah, I'll probably make a full review video after I platinum the whole game. Just going to be kind of like what it was for my Spider-Man 2 review a couple years ago, where, you know, I just kind of talk into the microphone. It'll be more organized than this, though, because I'm kind of tired, so like I'm not really remembering what I'm trying to say. So yeah, overall, Expedition 33, very good game. It's only $50. Really, it's a long game, a lot of content. It's beautiful. It sounds great. Everything. There's no reason not to pick up this game, or at least not to try it. If you don't like it, and drop it, sure, whatever. But there's no reason not to try this game. I think this is a game everybody should try. It's got something here for everybody, whether you end up liking it or not. I think it's worth a try. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Expedition 33, thumbs up in my book. We'll give it a tentative 10 out of 10 until I platinum it. So yeah, anyways, I'm getting out of here. No news on a Bloodborne Remaster today. That's been your daily Bloodborne Remaster update from May the 4th, 2025.